Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Linnea, and today I wanted to talk about the city of Daegu, which is the city that I live in Korea, and I just wanted to talk about why I enjoy living here. I feel like when you like doing research about like whether you're traveling or wanting to live here in Korea, like there's so much information on Seoul, so much information on Busan, and I know when I was looking into different cities, I didn't find like too much information about living in other places. And so I've been living here since March of 2023. So, about a little over like a year and a half. And so I was like, you know what? I think I want to share my experience as someone who's living here and like the things that I do enjoy about living here. Because if you are coming through the EPIC program, then you know that you get you're able to write down like your 3 top choices of cities you would like to live in. And so for me, I know that, or I've had kind of like heard that like, especially if you have not taught here before, like getting placed in Seoul or Busan, like I didn't really have a good chance of that happening. And I know that I don't think I would enjoy myself as much living in a rural community. So when I was doing some research and what I did find about Daegu, I was like, you know what, I think this will be like a perfect fit for me. This was my first choice. This is where it was placed. And I have been enjoying myself since I arrived. So yeah, I was going to just talk a little bit about the things that I enjoy and like kind of what Daegu has to offer. So number 1, and so if you see me looking down, I do have some notes. But number 1, I would say that like, if you are someone that's like worried about like, is there things to do? Because again, we hear of all these things happening and they're usually in Seoul, maybe sometimes in Busan. Let me tell you, Daegu has plenty of things to do. And also it's, if I feel like it's like the perfect mix of like plenty of things to do, but like not as like crazy busy, overpacked, overcrowded all the time when you go do something. Like it's not like overwhelming, because I know like I can't handle, like I said, just things that are super packed. Like that's too much for me. But I do enjoy like being active and getting to do different things, and Daegu has that. So some of the things that Daegu has to offer. So first, we've got 3 sports teams, at least 3 sports teams that I know of. So we have a baseball team, basketball team, and a soccer team. I've personally only been to the baseball games, which if you like come to Korea or live in Korea, like go to the baseball games. They are such like a fun, even if you're not into baseball, like they are such a fun experience. Like just the vibe there is like a lot of chanting and like even the fried chicken and just like being in the environment. It's a super fun experience. So highly recommend you go to a baseball game if you come to Korea. But okay, we've got our sports teams. Whatever your hobby is, I'm sure there is a community of people here that enjoy the same thing as you. I know of book clubs, personal development groups, lots of language exchanges for like different languages, not only like Korean and English, knitting clubs, what else? I have friends that play in different sports teams, so like soccer and volleyball, whatever, like I said, whatever your hobby is, there is a community of people that enjoy the same thing as you, and that you will be able to find. If you're into hiking, we have 3 mountains here in Daegu. One of them is like in like the city of Daegu, like probably like 20 minutes from me. And then the other 2 are maybe like an hour and a half or so, like outside of like Daegu. But so like when it comes like when it's springtime and all the flowers are blooming and like I said, there's so many flower festivals all like literally everywhere. But to go to the flower festivals, it's fun to go to like the mountains and ride the cable cars and see all the flowers, and then also like the fall time to see like the fall foliage. Just super beautiful. I've been to 2 out of the 3 and they're just nice to go to. So if you're into, whether that's like I said, I know the 2 out of the 3 that I've been to do have cable cars. So if you're not wanting to like hike, but you still want to go to them and experience like what they kind of have to offer, but most of them have like cafes and restaurants, and there's just plenty of things to do. But yeah, so there's different trails. You can hike all the way to the top, or maybe you take a little trail to this place or that place, whatever. But if you're interested in like the great outdoors, there is mountains for you to get involved in that. Festivals are really big throughout Korea, and I know like if you've seen any of my other like videos, you know that like I love going to festivals. It's literally one of my favorite things to do in Korea, and Daegu has plenty of them that they'll keep you plenty busy. So I'd say probably like our two biggest ones that I think like a lot of people from like outside of Daegu come to is we have the Daegu the hip hop festival. So I went to that last year, and that was actually really fun. And then we have the Chimek Festival. So it's like chicken and then like mekju, which is like beer. So it's like the chicken and beer festival. And so that's like really fun. That's like a summertime festival. That one is a really fun one to go to. And it's free. So that's, also fun. And, they got the concerts and stuff going on. And, but yeah, those are like really fun to go to. And then we have like smaller ones. So some of like the smaller ones that I've been to the Rose Festival, the Chrysanthemum Festival, the Vegan Festival. We have like a lake here called like Susung Lake, and so I've been to like the Susung Beer Festival, the Susung Lake Festival. I've been to 2 different like neighborhood festivals. So like I said, there's just always something going on, festivals, and then just in general, like other things that we have, like, some museums here, and the exhibitions are always changing. We have like parks, and we have like a big park, which is like Daegu Park, and so that park's got like a picnic area. If you've seen, like, I think my last vlog I kind of showed like the picnic space. There's an amphitheater, there's like a skate park, there's plenty of like walking around and stuff to do, cafes surrounding the park everywhere. What else? We have an amusement park here, eWorld. There's plenty of norebangs, there's plenty of there's plenty of things to do. Like pool halls. I've been to a few of the pool halls here. Bowling alley, just like the typical stuff. There's like plenty of those things everywhere throughout the city. So like if you are really wanting to like get out and find stuff to do, you will be able to do that here in Daegu. All right. Reason number 2 that I enjoy living here, I'd say probably the location. So I'd say we are like, I feel like Korea is not like that big to begin with, especially as like an American. Korea is not that big. But I think it's like in a pretty nice location. Because it is one of the major cities. It has a stop on like the high-speed train, like the KTX. So here in Korea, there's like, to my knowledge, there's like the 3 train lines. We have like the slow train, and there's like maybe like the medium, but like more slow, or like a little bit more slow. And then there's the like the high speed train, which is the KTX. So Daegu has a stop on the KTX, which makes it super easy to get to Seoul or Busan, right? Like I said, if something is happening in Seoul, you want to go to one of the concerts or one of the big festivals up there, or you're flying out of Seoul or whatever brings you to Seoul. Super easy to get there. It's probably like an hour and 40 minutes from Daegu. And then to go to Busan, it's about like a 50-minute train ride. Super easy to go there. And then like I said, we have stops on the other 2 train lines as well. So like depending on where you're going in the city, it's easy to get there via train. And if not via train, then we have like buses that will take you wherever you need to go. We have like maybe 3 that I can think of, like inner city bus stations. So again, like depending on what city you're going to, like you can, or maybe there's one of the bus stations closer to you has a bus that's going to there. Great, makes it easy to go. I will say that usually the trains are faster depending on where you're going, but to me the buses are more comfortable, because the train I feel like has like a standard like kind of airplane seat, if you will, and then the bus seats are like recliner, like big old comfy chairs, like they do recline back. They're way bigger, and then the bus takes you from like point A to point B, as opposed to the train, like you're watching your stop, and which isn't that big of a deal, but it's just convenient. Like for example, going to like Incheon Airport, like up in like the Seoul area, like if I was to go from Daegu, I'd have to take the high-speed train from Daegu to Seoul Station, and then take like the airport line, which is like another hour, from Seoul Station to the airport. So that's maybe like a 3-hour, 20-minute like journey, as opposed to if I hop on the bus, which is maybe 4 hours or 4 hours and 10 minutes or something like that. It takes me right from like our main station in Daegu drops me off at the entrance to the airport, which is convenient. I literally, every time I've gone to the airport, I take the bus. But yeah, super easy to get around. And just in general in Daegu, like we are one of the cities that have like a subway line. I mean, yeah, like subways. We have 3 lines here, and then there's like plenty of buses. So wherever you need to go in Daegu, easy to get there. Because I have been to like other smaller cities, and they don't have a subway. They don't have any subway line. So it is kind of like, when there's only buses, sometimes it is kind of like harder or takes longer to just get anywhere. So it is nice here in Daegu that we do have the subway lines. And then also, if like you're a big traveler like I am, we do have an airport here. So I know there's like other like smaller airports throughout Korea, but I would say that our airport is like decently major airport here. So like when you're flying to, let's say, like Jeju Island, or we even have a few like international flights, like going to Osaka, Japan, Fukuoka, Japan, Taipei, Taiwan, Da Nang, Vietnam, I think to Shanghai. Like, you know, depending like where you're going, maybe like in other countries in Asia, like you can go there directly from Daegu. So I think that's pretty convenient. As I personally have flown some of these like direct flights. And so it's like convenient to like not have to go to Busan or travel all the way up to Seoul to travel wherever you're going. But yeah, so I think that's a major pro that Daegu has. All right, number 3. I would say like the foreigner community, because, you know, I feel like obviously most of us are probably moving here to like experience the culture, and yeah, we're not really here to like, oh, I'm going there to make foreigner friends, but I do think that it is like helpful to have people here that like understand the experience that you're having, who, when you need support, you're able to get that support from people. Because I mean, maybe you're coming here and you're fluent in Korean, but I know like most of the foreigners that I know, we are maybe can get by, but I wouldn't say fluent. And so I feel like here in Daegu, like English isn't as common as maybe like in the bigger cities. Like I'd say a lot of like the younger groups, like you know, like school age children or like professionals maybe speak English, but it isn't uncommon to go places and nobody speaks English. So that can result sometimes in you getting turned away from places. Like, oh, I walk into the hospital, and if you're not speaking Korean, they will turn you away. Or you're looking to go to like the dermatologist. Oh, you're not speaking Korean, you're going to get turned away. So it's just kind of like, it is nice to like have a community of people of like, oh, like, can anybody recommend a, you know, gynecologist, and they can recommend someone they've gone to. Can someone recommend a dentist office, and they can recommend their dentist to you. But yeah, there's a lot of like Epic teachers here, which I think is nice to like be a part of. Like, that's one reason why I do really like Epic, because of like the community that like is already kind of like established when you like enter Korea through the program. But yeah, there's a lot of Epic teachers, plenty of Hagwon teachers that I've met. There's like 2 American military bases, and I've met like, we have like, you know, a few different universities here. So I've met like international students, both like bachelor and master degree levels. But yeah, I think it's like nice to have that community of people. And like I said, when it comes to like your hobbies and stuff, like it's easy to kind of like find that community of people. But yeah, I'd say like maybe some just like other like not smaller things, but just like, you know, other things about Daegu. I think it's like pretty affordable. You know, it's these like, you know, Seoul being a big a big city, like it's obviously more expensive there. It's maybe a little bit more like westernized, maybe not as traditional as opposed to, I'd say, like, I think Korea, why do I keep saying Korea? I think Daegu, I'd say is a pretty like traditional city. So you're getting to like authentically, I'd say, experience Korea, living here. And like I said, I think it's pretty affordable, to be able to like, you know, do the different things that you want to do. And so kind of leading into that, I'd say some cons. Because, right, I do enjoy living here, but that does not mean it is perfect. It is hot. In the summertime, it is very hot and it is very humid. Daegu is, I'm pretty sure, the hottest city in Korea. We're like surrounded by the mountains, and it's just hot down here. And so literally Daegu is nicknamed Africa because it gets pretty hot. So like in the summertime, it's not always fun to be dealing with living here. I can tell you that I definitely have taken a lot of trips to Busan because like I said, it's a quick train ride, like a 40-minute train ride or like a 50-minute bus ride. And then one of the buses goes like right to the beach. Literally drops me off and I walk 5 minutes and I'm at the beach. So I definitely took that bus a lot of times this summer. But yeah, it's hot here. Another con I would say is that like Daegu is considered to be one of the most conservative cities in Korea. So when it comes to like how maybe you dress, so I'd say that they're not that big on like wearing sleeveless things. I'm not saying that people don't do it, but it's not common, I would say. So like wearing things that are sleeveless, like showing showing cleavage. And even when I think like just in general, like how you dress, even when I think about like maybe you have like having older like coworkers, like you know, just like I said, being mindful of how you're dressing. I personally have not had any problems with mine, but like do have like a nose piercing. So like, I know that's often something that sometimes people worry about when they're like, especially when you're like coming to teach here. But you know, like you just kind of, it can be, none of my teachers have ever commented on it. But it is pretty small, but in general, like not an issue, but you just kind of never know. And like I said, dress the way you dress. Like one time I was going to meet with some friends in the summertime and I threw in some shorts. They were Bermuda shorts. So like an inch or two above my knee. And like a Korean woman just kind of like walked up to me and was like yelling at me and like kept pointing to my shorts. And so I was like, well, clearly in some way, maybe I have offended her with my shorts. I don't know. But yeah, it's just kind of mindful to know. Because like I said, maybe they're not going to do what the Korean lady did to me in that particular example, but like just even like getting like stares because of like the way that you're dressed or whatever, because like I said, it's pretty conservative. And then I'd say another con would be if you are someone that like you really are wanting that like big city life, then that is not what you're going to find here in Daegu. I think it's like a nice size, like medium city. And like for me, I've grown up living in cities that are similar to Daegu. So like for me, this is perfect. Like I couldn't do a Seoul all the time. And I have a lot of friends that are from like small towns. So like Daegu is like big city for them and it's like perfect. But if you're someone who like I said, is wanting that big city life, you are not going to find it here in Daegu. I think that's like important to say. Maybe you, like I said, we're not all the same. Maybe you do want the big city life. But yeah, I think that was like, those are like the major things that are coming to mind. But yeah, I think overall Daegu is like a great city. Like I said, I think it's affordable and it's not like completely like overpacked. Like I said, maybe Seoul or Busan is. Like I said, if you've seen any like videos online or whatever about like Seoul during like rush hour, like it's really crazy actually. But yeah, and even like practicing, maybe you're wanting to practice or like learn Korean. I would say that like Daegu, like in Daegu, like English isn't as commonly spoken. Like there's definitely people here that speak English. So like maybe you won't struggle with it as much as if you were like in a smaller city. But yeah, like it is a great place to, like, you will come into plenty of like opportunities to practice your Korean. And like I said, like when I think of like traditional, I do appreciate that too, right? Because like I said, I know I came here to like learn about the culture and get to experience it and immerse myself in it. So like getting to live in like a traditional city has been nice. And what else? I think those are probably like my biggest things. I'd say that like people here are super kind, like literally some of like the kindest people that I've like ever met. And just like I said, I think people are like, I said, there are a lot of like foreigners here, but I know for me personally, I don't see a lot of foreigners unless I'm like in the downtown area. So it's like one of those where it's like, you will definitely see foreigners. So like, you don't feel like you're the only one, but they're not as used to seeing foreigners here, especially like the further out you live from like this downtown, which I don't live. I live pretty like on the outskirts of the city. So it's like, you know, usually when they see you, that make like sometimes they are excited to practice their English, or they'll say hello or help you if you look confused or whatever the case is. So I think that's nice to experience. But anyways, yeah, that is my perspective on living here in Daegu. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Instagram or comment if you have any questions. And in general, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, that is Linnea's perspective living here in Daegu. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you next time.